Okay, welcome back everyone to part 3 of the coffee cup. In part 3 we're going to go ahead and add the handle here. Most of it. We'll see if we can get through all of it in our time frame. So I have our coffee cup that we have through parts 1 and part 2. I also have it oriented to the front work plane because when I go to draw my handle, I'm going to add my new sketch to the front work plane. So Shift S on the keyboard. I'm going to hover over the front work plane and select it. And you can also, actually I need to be in here, Shift S, to add a new sketch. Then you can hover and click. And a good rule is you can hit N on the keyboard as well. So if you happen to be in isometric view, when you select the front view, instead of right clicking and hit view normal to sketch plane, you can also just hit N and that will rotate to normal view as well. Now that I'm in my front work plane, I want to add two things here. I want to add a line coming up and a 3-point arc coming around. I just need to make sure that some things are coincident and some things are tangent. So I'm going to add L for line. I'm just going to draw a line up here where I think it's going to be. And then I'm going to A for arc. I need a 3-point arc. And I want to make sure that they touch here, and I'm going to pull it out until I get it to be tangent. And then the next thing I want is I want a construction line. So I'm going to draw this as a line, and it's point to point. And I'm going to escape the line. Now I see here that this line needs to be a construction line. So I'm going to hover, right click, and select construction, and it changed it to a construction line for me. The other thing I need to make sure is I want to make sure that this line is coincident to this midpoint here. And you can see that when I get a little closer by zooming in that they're not. So I'm going to go to the quick access toolbar, select coincident. I'm going to select the line in the midpoint. And those are now set up to where I want to be. I want to make sure, let's turn on the constraints just to check. But I want this line and this arc here to be tangent. So I'm going to just verify that to make sure that I'm all golden. And there I am. Sorry, it was there before and I forgot. All right, so let's go ahead and add our dimensions to our sketch now. And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and show our main sketch. Because in order for our dimensions to connect, we don't want our handle to be inside of the coffee cup. We only want it to be to our unshelled out portion. So I'm going to come over here to main sketch, and I'm going to turn the sketch on. And now you can see that my sketch is given to me and shows that this right here will be the thickness of my coffee cup. This here will be shelled out in a later video. So the way that I can do that is I just need to make sure that this point and these line here for my thickness, my offset, are coincident. So let's go ahead and select this point first, since that's what I want to move. Then I'll select my construction line and notice how it brought it out to the point where I need it. Same thing down here. I'm going to want to move this point, so I will select it first. Then I will select the construction line. And now that I have my geometric constraints, I can add my dimensional constraints. So I'm going to hit D on the keyboard. It will jump over to my dimension. And I want to dimension this arc here to 20 millimeters. Then I want to make the distance from my coffee cup to the bottom of my coffee cup at 85. That's pretty good. That's just slightly off. And then the bottom handle where it intersects down here on the bottom of my coffee cup, I want to make that at 25 millimeters. And now I have the dimension constraints for me. I'm going to go ahead at this point and rename this. Well, it is the front pane, but I'm going to rename this sketch because I'm going to need it later. And I'm going to rename this to path. And once I have path, I'm going to accept it. And now I'm ready to add my angled work plane down here so that I can then come in and add my cylinder later on, which we've done before. We'll add our sweep command. All right, I will see you all for the next video in just a bit.